Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are we doing tonight? My fellow patriots, I know there's people that are going to be coming on very quickly. As you come on, definitely let me know where you're coming in from so we can make sure we give a shout out to your areas. But we are going to do a lot of interesting things tonight. So, good evening. How you doing, North Carolina? Okay, Pennsylvania's in the house. Give me 1 second. I have a message that I have to respond to. Okay, Missouri's in the house. Welcome, 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 North Carolina again. Awesome. It looks like we have another North Carolinian. Welcome, Lily. Glad to see you're here. And I believe, if I remember right, the Lily, I know you reached out to me this morning. I'm going to double check and make sure, but I believe the one from this morning is not even up yet. I will have to figure out why it's not. But yeah, as soon as I figure out why it's not uploading, I will let you know. But you're definitely going to want to check out the episode this morning. And it's going to explain a little bit of what I do tonight as well. So it looks like we have California, another North Carolina coming in, and yeah, I will figure out a way to get you that video. And maybe it's because it got struck on YouTube. I'm gonna just take a quick look and make sure. But I'm sure that they wanted to. So if I can pull it up, I will definitely. Okay, yeah. No, it definitely did not get struck. So yeah, I'll send you the link to it after we're done with this one. So welcome, Winks, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. Okay, guys, we are going to. There's some things that I've been reading and listening and hearing a whole bunch of other stuff too. So we are going to definitely cover a little bit, and then as the title of the episode says, we are going to get into my response to the attacks in Tucker Carlson with Fox News in regards to the Pentagon. So I'll get into that as well. So, guys, just bear with us a little bit. We have Washington, we have New Mexico. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And it looks like our friend Jason is in the house. So I know he's gonna probably want to dial me back a little bit, but I'll bring him on, and then we will definitely get this showboat rolling. How we doing tonight, Jason?
Oh, it's so loud here. Kids came home. They all want to be up here for dinner. It's good times.
Oh yeah, well, it's good times around here too. So look at all the love coming in. We have
I know,
Eastern
right?
Tennessee here as well.
It's like
So
everybody.
yeah. So guys, I'm gonna just kind of do a little bit of a walkthrough, guys. This morning we did get a lot of response for how I did the morning show. It was a little bit different, a little bit more passionate.
A
Some people
little.
say it's an aspiring politician, but I think of myself as not a politician. But yeah, let's see the happy dance from Jason because his kiddos are going to be going back to school here soon.
Cannot wait.
So, yep. And we definitely have an advocate that is doing her best to make sure that we're able to put on some people that people are willing to actually sit down and listen to as well. So,
Proud Patriot wants you to shake your stuff.
no, I want to keep my viewers. So, just we're doing our thing, but Jason, I know there's a few things that you wanted to cover tonight, and then I'll launch into what I need to say, my response, and we'll go from there. So,
Good question. So Okie Gal, why two more doomsdays in the air today? My assumption is there's some things being prepared for, and my assumption is things are ramping up for Iran and Syria. You have a crowd growing, Shane, and they're all chanting, Shane, Shane, Shane,
yeah,
Shane.
you know what? I know a lot of people want me to take one for the team, but I'm not that adventurous.
So yeah, I think. Sorry, I don't mean to kind of bounce all over the board here, but definitely they're building up for something over in Syria and Iran.
Where'd you
They're go away.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got your shower.
There was C-17s over there today. There's C-5s over there today. Last night there was a bunch, so they're ramping up definitely.
And I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were discussing something very very serious that is potentially coming down the pike, and I am probably going to cover it a little bit later in regards to how the current administration is looking at taking a war footing in regards to like Syria and Iran. And guys, it's not pretty because I don't know if people really understand what's going on in regards to basic training. You remember what basic training was like when you were in, right, Jason? I mean, no
Yeah.
cell phones, no. I mean, cell phones weren't even invented when you were in the military.
No, very first the Nextel wasn't even available. The click to push to talk that wasn't even available yet, but there was still the very first flip phones. So it was just right there.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm talking about. I
Yes,
mean,
absolutely.
the closest thing you had to a cell phone was a brick phone.
Yeah, pretty much.
And yeah, we know how much of a joke those were. But
50
I
cents
mean,
a minute or whatever.
Have you paid attention to how the basic training is being ran now?
So when I was entering basic training, it was the very first class through Great Lakes Naval Station that had women involved. There was never women allowed in the Navy at all. So my class was the very first one with women involved, and I will tell you, there was a whole lot of language change in my class. And the drill sergeants were screwing up left and right on what they're used to saying. And there was a lot of things that, I mean, It was quick to get in trouble too.
Yeah.
So, and then now you compare that to what these guys go through in basic. These guys have a cakewalk.
Well, and I was talking to somebody who was going through National Guard basic, and I was just curious just to see what they were going through, and they're like, "Oh, it was so difficult." I'm like, "Really? What was difficult about it?" We had to shut our cell phones off for 10 hours. I was like, "Well, I never got a cell phone."
Yeah.
Well, how did you survive? Um, I woke up at 4 a.m. I went for a 5 mile run with an 80-pound ruck, and you go and do your thing. And they're like, "You had to run 5 miles? That's like insane. I don't understand it. Why would they make you run 5 miles?" I'm like, my God. And I don't use God's name in vain. But I look at the stupidity and the gentrification or the um, pussification, and
Yeah.
I don't say that word very lightly. I look at the pussification of the U.S. military now. I mean, guys. So Lloyd Austin, he may be a great man. He may be one of the best generals of all times. But the guy's a pure political hack. And to have him parading around as a Secretary of Defense saying that, oh, we are going to make things way more equivalent to each and every single race all across the board.
There
Guys,
is no such thing. We're all human. Embrace that.
you
No play in that whatsoever.
you go
That's my whole problem with everything that's going on. Guys, listen, I am no such thing as a racist at all. I'm no such thing as a sexist. But I'm going to tell you right now, the amount of special things that are going on for all sorts of different things is absolutely insane.
I mean, when you sit there,
Women should be.
and you talk about how a man can't even call himself a man in the military anymore. A female can't even call herself a female in the military anymore. You, when you go in, you are talking. They talk to you about your gender preference. I mean, come on. When is the military going to get back to doing their duties of fighting wars? We fought in Vietnam for how long? We fought in the Koreas for how long? I mean, crap, for crap's sakes. The Korean War is still going on. Yeah, we signed we signed an armistice or a ceasefire, but the war is still going on. The U.S. military that I know and the U.S. military that I love was meant to defend and fight and support our country and her citizens from enemies both foreign and domestic. That is the oath that we swear. I didn't swear an oath, and many of our veterans and so on and so forth did not swear an oath to defend the rights of somebody who A, volunteered to join the military, and B, thinks that it's okay to go in there with a psychological disorder called gender dysphoria. If you're not in there to fight a war and you're going to get scared at the sight of war, probably shouldn't be in there.
Right. Well, part of basic training, whenever I was there, was to mentally and emotionally prepare yourself for war. And I don't know if that's what they go through anymore. I really don't.
Dude, they're giving safe space cards. Back, I mean, when you were in basic training and the drill sergeant pulled off his campaign hat and threw it at you, what were you expected to do?
Get my ass kicked.
You knew dang straight that you were going to get your butt kicked no matter what.
Right.
Because you done pissed off him. And if you
my
didn't get your butt kicked by the drill sergeant, you were blanket partied after the fact because you just went and made all your squad people and everything.
sock party, yeah.
Yeah, they whipped the crap out of you. They made sure
There
that you
was
paid the price.
there was one kid who had to go to infirmary. It was bad. But my first night there, all right, my first morning waking up, they had all the drill sergeants come in. And the metal cans with the broom handles and the tops going together like this, and holy crap. It was unbelievable just to be woken up by that. And you get woken up like that, you're immediately in fight or flight mode, and you don't know which end is up, which end is down. And that stuff doesn't happen anymore.
Guys, I don't care if you identify as male. I don't care if you identify as female. I don't care if you identify as an alien. Okay? If you come into the military and you sit there and you tell the guys who went through actual basic training, not liberal safe space training. If you go in and to serve in your military and you have to have a safe space, you do not belong in the military that I knew. In the military that every other veteran who has fought in foreign wars or who has served overseas or who has went to combat in Fallujah. I've seen guys be blown apart. I know a little bit about it. So when people talk about the safe space suckers who think that it's just a way to pay for your college, guys, there's a way to pay for your college by joining the military. Yes, the GI Bill does pay for your college, and it is a good thing. But these safe space leftists think that they join the military and they can change it into the woke force. It's no longer the Air Force. It's no longer the Navy. You have the woke force or the wokeitary. That is not what we pay as taxpayers. We do not pay the military to be woke. We pay the military to A, defend our country, and B, keep us safe. That is all we pay them for. I am absolutely livid. I didn't really want to launch in this.
Woosa. Woosa.
But guys, I don't know who the crap is running the joint up at the Pentagon.
It's not.
But if they're gonna just bow down and take it, they shouldn't be in the military.
I will venture to bet that you will see changes local, just like with states, versus what's coming down from federal. Just like Texas is taking their money and building the wall, just like North and South Dakota are taking their money and working on the pipeline. Same type of deal. The federal government can put through whatever they want. Yeah, they're going to follow it to a point, but that doesn't mean that there won't be things that happen in the process. Lori, you're right. Sorry, Shane. I know you're a little bit further back in the comments, but Lori posted, "I can't wait to get our woke training. It's coming." If we end up with 4 years of this, they're going to try and brainwash people. It's not.
There's no try. It's been going on in college campuses for 20 plus years.
No, but Shane, what I'm talking about is people like us, people in their 30s and 40s and 50s. They're going to try to get them this age range to change their thought process, to change their motivations. All right. And guys, I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole because this is not a rabbit hole. They're trying to do this already in colleges and in high schools and junior highs and in elementary schools. Illinois passed a bill that said that you're not allowed to speak about any emergency situations without prior authority and written statement as to what you can say about those in class. It's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, the crocodiles and the wokeness in the military is going to be the destruction of our country. I have literally, and guys, I laugh a little bit at the disinformation that's being put out in regards to certain other channels that are talking about different battalions and stuff going over to Germany and so on and so forth. But there were some people that put out that the 305th Military Intelligence Battalion was sent over to Germany in conjunction with the CIA. Let me explain something. The 305th is a training battalion. They do not operate overseas. They do not operate in conjunction with the CIA or the NSA or the DIA or any of those. Okay. There was something I seen on other channels today as I was kind of going through and saying what I needed or listening to different things. I heard that and I was like, no, this is they try to play them off as elite operators. The 305th is an infantry intelligence unit that is for training only.
When you graduate,
training, then they go to the actual field and the different battalions and all that they are assigned to. So,
look at Lori's comment, Shane. 721. Nope, next one up. Yep.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I'm not surprised.
And if there is a declassed version of that training, if you could, I would definitely appreciate it if you were able to actually get that to me. Only if it's declassified. I don't want it. If it's classified and I can't share it, don't worry about it. But if there's something that's declassed or something that we can share, that's information that would actually help. So, yeah, stuff like that. That's, I mean, the wokatary, or sorry, the military, and there are a lot of honorable people that serve in the U.S. military, and I want people to understand that I do not take away or want to spread shame on anybody that's serving honorably. That is the least that I want to do. Okay, I appreciate it, Lori. I will reach out to you personally or send me a message or a whisper through Twitch, and I I'll reach out after the show just so you have an information or a place to send it if you are able to. So, guys, it's absolutely disgusting. How many soldiers? I'm gonna. So one of the jobs that I did not so long ago before this whole pandemic actually started was I worked for SkyWest Airlines. A lot of people don't know that about me. I worked for the airlines. I was a ground handling agent, but I went to training out in Denver. So I got to fly in there. I was there for weeks at a time, and every night I would meet people who were staying at the motel, and you're talking about kids, 17, 18 years old, who are enlisting in the military. Of course, right away they see me, buzz cut, the whole 9 yards, walk up to me and start out talking to me about what they were getting ready to do. And to see the fear in their eyes as to what they were getting into. And I remember one kid in particular. His parents were there with him and sitting down. Kid had gotten into some trouble, but he turned 18. His record was expunged, but yet he had no direction. So I talked to the kid individually, apart from his parents, and I asked him. I said, "Is this something that you truly want to do?" He looked at me. He said, he said, "I don't really confide in too many people." He said, "But I really don't want to go." I said, "Well, have you made it known to your parents?" "Yeah, but they don't seem to care." Guys, if your child, whether boy or girl, if you push them to join the military and they don't want to go, guess what? You're part of the problem. If they are joining just to please you, there there's something wrong. I sat down and talked to this kid's parents, and I say that I say it in that way because I want people to understand that, and there's going to be people that watch this after the fact, after this show is done. But I sat down and talked to this kid's parents. He was at muster, so I was just like, so why is it that you guys are pushing him to join? Well, he needs some direction. He wants to be a musician, but there's no money in being a musician. I said, and you think there's money to be made joining the military? Well, we told him there's a chance that he could join the marching band with the Air Force. I said, okay, so let me get this straight. He's a musician. He wants to be a musician. He's made it clear to you guys he doesn't want to join the military. So if you guys are pushing him, it's going to shut him down. So why don't you guys do something for him that may actually be more beneficial? And they're like, well, what's that? I said, you need to sit down with the recruiter. You need to sit down with him and the recruiter together. And you need to tell the recruiter the truth that you're pushing him. He doesn't want to go. He may have signed papers, but until he went to MEPS, he was still free to make his choices. So they said, okay. They called up the recruiter. The recruiter came down to the motel, pulled the kid aside, and the recruiter came up to me after meeting with the parents and this kid, and he said, "You know what?" He said, "I don't know you from a hill of beans." He said, "But you just saved the U.S. military over $175,000 worth of training." I said, "Well, why do you say that?" He said, "Because that kid would have washed out in under 30 days because he didn't have the desire. If a, that's why I'm very much against anybody pushing their loved ones into going into the military. I understand the importance of the military, but I'm not willing to risk my life over a kid that doesn't want to join
or doesn't believe in it.
Or doesn't believe in it. Exactly. So both your sons served and think that you're crazy. They're not Biden supporters, but certainly not Trump supporters. I just don't understand since they grew up in military families and both served. Guys, believe it or not, there's a lot of military people who are very apolitical. It's just the way it is.
Really and honestly, most military people in the basic levels should be apolitical. In all honesty, they should be. They need that grooming. They need that training. They need that life lesson in order to really form their own opinions, their own thoughts.
Jason.
Yeah, I see it.
How you doing, Squirrely? Welcome. Glad that you were able to make it. And Laurie, I hope and pray not. But if it's as bad as people are saying, I fear for all of us. So
King, that one specific one, I'm looking at it. It did a quick land and go. It was on the ground for about 45 minutes. For those on YouTube, King Me asked me about the flight path for a P-8 plane that is currently over Jacksonville that flew up to Wilmington, South Carolina. I believe that's South Carolina. For some reason, I can't get my... There we go. Wilmington is right on the border. So anyway, and then took a path back down and did a couple of investigative circles over Jacksonville. It looks like it's possibly waiting to land right now. That's a good question because if you look, Kingy, at where it went, that particular airport, that particular circle was directly over an airport, Wilmington International Airport. It did 8 passes over that and then came back, landed. It did, let me take that back. It did 6 passes, landed, then did 2 more passes once it went back up 45 minutes later, and then came right back down to Jacksonville. Jacksonville, right? Yeah, Jacksonville. My assumption is there was probably a military head on that plane, and they dropped him off for something else.
Which link are you talking about, Lori? But
Sam, hope you're okay.
you want to tackle this one about the helo and the hella in the White House?
Where? What am I not seeing? Help me.
Lori, go look in your whispers. I sent an email to, or the email to you.
What am I missing, Shane? You're bouncing up here. Squirrely, I saw that on Signal, and I don't know right now. I literally saw it the first time while we're live tonight, so I haven't even come close to looking at it. It looks like honestly, it looks like a cleaning crew came in for some reason. My assumption would be that they wanted to disinfect the White House after the press and everybody else was in there, but I could be way off base.
There was something that happened last night at the White House.
Right.
I'm working to get more details, but yeah, I don't believe it was not a cleaning crew. That I can almost assure you.
They were black pants, white shirts.
Yep.
So I can honestly say I don't know that answer, and I hate to give you guys that answer constantly, but I would rather give you that than yes. Okay, good, Sam. Yes,
But,
they absolutely did look like uniforms, Squirrely.
yeah, and I am actually talking to somebody who knows a little bit of the going-ons at the White House. He actually works in the White House communications room, so I'll let you know what I find out. So, guys, I know people have asked, why is it in the mornings I'm on by myself and in the evenings Jason's with me? Well, unlike me, Jason has a real job.
I more often
I
than
was
not,
waiting for a reaction.
it happens to be at the time that he goes live. I've got standing meetings for my regular job. So I try to listen in as best I can, but I have to be able to pay bills too.
Yeah. Julie Craven, look up patriotnewsnetwork.us.
And if you're looking for the Signal group, if you're on Signal, shoot me a message. I'm time_4_truth, and I'll get you all set up in there.
Apparently, I guess, Jason, you have to work, and I have several real jobs. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. No, just kidding. But guys, we are looking at bringing in some other people and having other people involved as well to kind of give a little bit of a mix of content. I mean, whether it's humor, whether it's some reality checks, whether it's or some actual medical advice. If I know we have doctors and we have we have people of different stripes on the platform, and I mean, it's always nice to interview somebody that is knowledgeable about different topics. So we're not just hitting the same topics every single night or every single day. Today was kind of it was okay. It was a different. Oh, you have an old flip phone. They do have signal on a computer as well. So
Right.
someone else needs to open their own channels too. Why? Here soon we'll have more than enough people to keep people occupied all day long. So, is there going to be a reset? There, there's a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of conflicting information. There's definitely a financial reset that's happening as we speak. I mean, anybody who's been paying attention to stocks, some are going sky high that you've never seen go up that high before, and these guys that were way at the top are starting to come down. So financially, there's going to be a reset very quickly, in my opinion, which is why we always tell people if you can afford to buy silver, physical silver, get it.
Guys, if you go to if you're using a Microsoft computer, you can go to the Microsoft store and download it, Signal. If you're using an Apple computer, you can go to the Apple store and grab it from there, or also the App Store. If you guys need, I can type you out some directions with some pictures and whatnot to help. But if you use it as an application instead of the web service, it will actually work better.
To yes, my mom G2. Yes, it did. I responded to you. Two groups is hard to keep up with. I'm losing my nuts. Well, acorns are a lot easier to lose, so it doesn't surprise me. Too round and slippery. But I mean, guys, we've the mission. Our mission is simple. Give as much or give as many people as much information as possible, and go from there. We're we're just simple folks. I'm just a guy, a conservative male in the middle of South Dakota. That's not too much of a rarity. And but Jason, on the other hand, is a whole different story. I mean, a conservative in the middle of Chicago or over near Chicago, that's like that's like having a nugget of gold in the bottom of a pan after sifting it.
It's actually becoming more and more common. You'd be surprised. Um, if it weren't for Springfield and Chicago and dead people voting, I think Illinois would be turning red.
That would be the biggest shock of my life, in all reality.
Well, and like I said, it's these people hold voter cards for 10, 20, 30 years after they're dead.
You know, my my dad got pretty upset around election time. He got really upset with his dad. His dad's voted. You know the sad part about it?
He voted Democrat.
He voted Democrat, and he's been dead for almost a year.
Narini, I think you're right. I really think that I think there was more red this time around than a lot of people realize.
And guys, anybody who was taking me seriously, relax. It's a little bit of dark humor that pokes fun at people who don't believe in fraud.
You know what, guys? It's been happening here since the 50s. It's notorious here. That's how Mayor Daley got elected and reelected and reelected and reelected and reelected and reelected 20 years. And that's how his son got elected.
And now you have Mayor Lightfoot.
We call her Beetlejuice.
Well, yeah. Well, she kind of looks like a Beetlejuice person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, she is definitely a yeah.
It sounds like a good time at your house.
At my house, yeah, the kiddos are running around and the wife's up there complaining.
I thought I heard a lasso.
No, that's just the kids' feet running around.
Oh, okay. Snow pants, snow boots, and throw them out the door.
If it wasn't for Too Busy Streets, yeah, that probably would have been already done.
My mom, yeah, you're right. We all are waiting for that woman's head to spin. She's something else.
But yeah, I think between her and Nancy, I'm not sure who's scarier.
Oh, Beetlejuice, absolutely. Nancy with power, but overall Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Mayor Light Fingers. That's a good one.
She did. There was multiple recounts on it, and just a mess. An absolute mess, seriously. Illinois is such a nasty state.
And quite honestly, I'm surprised you still live there.
If it wasn't for divorce, be gone a long time ago.
Where's Nancy Waters been? Well, she's probably been in the straitjacket where she belongs.
Narini, if Newsom is not recalled, it's only because they're cheating. I don't think there's a chance that he won't be recalled.
That's funny. Guys, I have to pull this one up. Are we ever going to have a fair, legal, and election again? Yes, guys, we will. Do you know how we are going to have a free and fair election? Each and every single one of us is going to campaign and go and basically talk to our state legislatures and demand with our neighbors and our friends and our family. We're going to demand that they pass legislation that actually defends our rights to vote and actually defends and moves forward conservative ideals, such as like voter ID laws. It's on us. If we're not speaking out, guess what? The liberals they have a campaign going on all the time. I don't understand why conservatives can't pull their heads out of their behinds and do it. Each and every single one of us definitely needs to go out and do everything possible to get this going. Maxine might be in her safe space. Yeah, the only safe space she has is in a psych ward in the middle of Los Angeles. So King Jong Pu is fighting the voter ID laws. That must be your governor, Governor Cooper. What about the bill? What about the bills they're passing, guys? There's legislation in the houses of almost each and every single one of the states that were contested. One second, guys. If you have something, go for it,
Um,
Jake.
yeah, I'll answer questions. I'm pretty frustrated tonight. Yeah, Shane's got to do the big dad thing. Peaches, I don't want to read that one out loud, but um, I agree with the second half of the question. I'm frustrated with just the way things have gone in the U.S. recently. Um, I'm really disappointed in the election. I'm really disappointed in the state that I was born and raised in has not only treated its people but its finances and everything else. Um, I'm pretty frustrated with a lot of the Congress. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer tonight. I'm really trying to keep this light, being it's a Friday night, but I'm really frustrated.
And guys, I as much as I would love to run for Congress, I don't think Congress is big enough.
I know Congress couldn't handle me. I
I
come
know
in
they
like
couldn't
a bull
handle
in a
me.
china shop. And anybody who knows me knows that that statement fits me pretty well. I would absolutely come in like a bull in a china shop and work endlessly to get my way. Narini, I agree with you. I'm disappointed. Like I said, I'm disappointed in so many different aspects of the U.S. diplomatic system right now. Put that in. Basically that's what it is.
Peaches, you're exactly right. There is a lot of infighting going on. A lot of guys. Here's the thing: when you have a whole bunch of people with different ideas on how to do different things, there is bound to happen. But again, I am one of those people who I'm not gonna. I don't play along, and I have had messages and I have had phone calls with people who tell me, Shane, you're going to lose. You're going to lose people because you're not going to go down the same road as everybody else. And guys, time and time again, I when I've talked about stuff, I'm not no Juan of Sav, and I'm not no prophetic person. But when I talk about stuff, I don't talk about it until I know for a fact that it's happening, and then I talk about it. And guess what? 99% of the time, I've been accurate. There is some that I've been wrong on. I'm not accurate 100% of the time, and I know that. But I use information that I'm given from people who are well informed within the government and within other private sector industries that deal with the government. I also use independent outside contributors who sift through data and give it to me. I reach out and talk to different people, journalists, and so on and so forth, who are actually trying to do the best thing they can for the most amount of people as they can, while still being able to do what they do. There are people that I trust with the information that if I'm going to put stuff out there, I think people that I trust to, when I get that information, to give it to me. There are people within our Signal platform who send me stuff, and I read through it and we discuss it on air. Some of it does not get discussed on air because it's not confirmed, or I can't go down that road. And if it's something that I can't touch, I'll let you know. If it's something I'm going to cover, I'll let you know until I know that it's factually confirmed by more than one source, because I believe in verifying it through 3 or 4 different sources before I actually bring it up. And when people talk to me about the deep underground military bases, well, is a man who did a lot of research. He actually designed quite a bit of it. He was found dead after coming and talking about locations and so on and so forth. A lot of what he said was true. The reason he was killed is because he released classified information. When you work in the government and you release classified documents that are so sensitive that not even people with secret clearances, because there's several classifications. You have sensitive, or you have confidential, you have sensitive, you have secret, you have top secret, and then above top secret. When some of the stuff is so sensitive that it receives an above top secret clearance rating, and as a civilian contractor, you are designing these, and you start discussing them when you've already signed an NDA, you fall under an act called the Treason Act, and you can actually be put to death for it. And the CIA, they're very well capable of reaching out and putting you to death without you even knowing or even hearing anything about it. And then, oh, it was just another suicide. There is very good reasons I don't discuss a lot of the same things as 107, as Gene Decode, and some of those others. I'm very clear. I know people ask me, well, why? Because I'm not gonna cover something if I can't verify it. And if I do verify it and I find out it's classified, I'm not gonna cover it, because then what's been happening to Julian Assange could happen to myself. And you know what happens when you get caught with classified documents? You're going to go sit in a cell with no visitors, period. No access to telephone, no access to electronics, no access to nothing. You're completely isolated from the outside world. That is how we treat people that do that. So I like to stay alive. I like to stay breathing. I like to have conversations with people. And I think each and every single one of you knows that. But I'll let Jason.
All right. So real quick, let me get to that in a minute. Grumpy Grandpa, how about the border? How are we going to stop the flow? Well, Texas has already put in um, a pardon me, a bill to pay for the rest of the wall themselves. And I have a feeling that Arizona is not far behind. So the only gap that I think that we're missing will be California and New Mexico. And if they fill in Arizona, New Mexico will probably not be far behind. So if California goes red, they won't be far behind either. So hopefully that answers that question. If we end up closing or having something happen in the White House, that'll happen. The fence will happen even faster. Julie Craven, I can't find Signal on the App Store. If you go through DuckDuckGo, go Signal app, Signal Home, and then download, you can get through it that way. All right. Lori, you're 100% right. Supreme Court isn't doing the job. I'm going to blast through a bunch of comments real quick. What the heck is going on? Okay. Winks. What is over in Great Britain that we fly over there to? It is a hub. It's actually a base that we share with Great Britain. It's a refueling station for those who have smaller fuel tanks. There's also another one in Nuremberg, Germany, I believe. Give me a minute. Things are bouncing all over the place. We can start building a wall between California and Arizona. How about that? Sam the Barber. Everybody, I think, but Norini would like that. Give me a second. Did I lock up here? What the heck is going on? So far, they're telling me to install on my phone first. So if you actually open up the app, you should be able to log in or create a username and password. And then once you do that, you should be able to get in. Narini, we were all taking a vote about putting up a fence between California and the rest of the U.S. So hopefully you don't mind. All right, I'm down to the bottom of the comments. Finally made it there. So guys, what all am I frustrated with? Name the name the portion of the government here in the U.S. and just about every portion of it, I'm disappointed with it. On top of the fact of everybody knows I live in Illinois, and I'm just as frustrated here about living here as I am everywhere else. And then again, I could just have cabin fever and need to get outside for a while.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. I mean, how many months have people been locked up at home?
Yeah.
But guys, just as an update, I am going to be doing some family stuff tomorrow. So I will do an AM show, and that will be it for tomorrow. And then of course Sunday I'm not going to be broadcasting at all. Monday we will be hitting it back at 10 a.m. And we're gonna continue to do this each day, Monday through Saturday. And then I had a discussion with my wife because, quite honestly, I serve at the pleasure of her. and I'm being kind of joking there, but on Saturdays, I was asked if I would only do one, so we could spend time with our family. Next weekend, there may be something going on, and if my parents come out, then there's going to be a couple days where I probably won't broadcast at all, but I will be talking to people in Signal. So I apologize. I wanted to be upfront and honest with people and let you guys know that that could be coming up. My
If
sister,
there's something as an emergency, I can get in and open it up and get everything going and get us going on this, guys. I don't think we're gonna just let you sit aside.
yeah, and guys, the reason it's I'm gonna be if my parents come out here. Just full disclosure, my older sister is not doing so well, and it is her 36th birthday on not this Sunday, but the next Sunday. So I am very I like to do things and be consistent, but I also want to make sure that everybody understands where I'm coming from. And Jason, he knows if there's something that I need him to do, all I do is give him access and he's able to run everything from where I'm at. So,
Right. Not to get off the subject here. I don't know if you got everything there.
yep.
Okie just asked, "What's up with Tucker and Pentagon?" Tucker made some comments not yesterday, the day before, with regards to pregnant women in the military and a general, I believe,
Well,
came
Lloyd Austin.
came on and defended them. That was pretty much the extent of it.
You know, so, but yeah, so Cap, by the way, the girls at work love my sweatshirt. You mean this one? I'm glad people liked it. Oh boy, Jason's pulling out the old mug.
This is my new pride and joy.
That's one big freedom seed.
It is. Here, there next to my head. That's how big it is. It's got a nice little pop top.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to try and see if I can swing a deal for you, Shane.
What's that?
I said I'm going to try and see if I can swing a deal for you.
Okay. Why should pregnant women be jumping out of airplanes in the middle of war zones? You know what? I'm still trying to figure out why they want to have pregnant women. No offense, ladies that are on here. I'm not doubting your capabilities at all. But the last time I checked, healthcare professionals don't really take they don't really say too much in the facts of, yeah, we believe that women should be pulling 6Gs while they're pregnant.
Right.
I don't see any medical professional that is saying that that is safe. But boy, Lloyd Austin, you got yourself a doozy going on. I mean, come on, beat your head into a wall. There's a whole. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I really think that everybody needs an equal chance in the military. Just kidding. That is not how I think, guys. I'm not that kind of a person. If you're going to serve in a capacity that in which you are able to serve. If you are a female pilot and you get pregnant and it is detrimental to your health, to be a pilot, which guess what? It is. More than likely, pulling those kind of G's is not good for you. You shouldn't be flying. But if you're cleared by the doctor and you're able to do it safely, by all means, go for it. So, don't agree with pregnant women in the military? Well, guess what? Lloyd Austin's with his way of the military is going to pay for sex changes and stuff like that. Pretty soon you're going to see pregnant women. Pretty soon you're going to see pregnant men.
Mm-hmm. Or what was it, man? Yeah.
People, I do this to make people laugh a little bit, but seriously, people Sam, you are absolutely correct. Pregnant women are not supposed to soak in hot tubs and have problems putting their socks on. Combat zones are not recommended. Coming from a healthcare professional, you are absolutely correct. I am 100% on board with that one.
Yep.
But guys, the attacks on a private citizen. Okay. People, I named the episode my response to the Pentagon's attack on Tucker Carlson. Guess what? When the Pentagon takes it upon themselves to turn our armed services into a woke theory, and then sits there and lambasts a private citizen about what he says about the military on his show, is disgraceful. If you are going to go out of your way to turn this country's finest fighting force into a wokatary, you should absolutely be condemned. You have no business running a military with fighters and all this. If you're afraid of somebody's feelings getting hurt, guess what, sweet cakes? Nobody cares about your feelings.
It's the military.
Nobody's ever asked you if you're going to spare them their feelings. Don't ask anybody to spare other people's feelings either. Because quite honestly, there's a lot of people out there who want me to back down a kowtow and say what's politically correct, and guess what? That ain't gonna happen. I may not be the smoothest talker. I might not be the slowest talker. Shoot, I might not be even the smartest person in the room. But I can put my socks on. I can put my pants on the same way you do, Mr. General. And you're just as dumb as most other libtards. Because you think that being woke is a sensible thing to do. Well, back in World War II, Admiral Yamamoto, before Pearl Harbor got attacked, he was ordered by the Japanese emperor to attack the U.S. homeland. He said, "No, sir. I will die before that ever happens, before I ever order my men to attack the homeland of the United States." The emperor asked him why. He said, "Because you will find 2 firearms behind every blade of grass. You will find 2 patriots who are willing to defend their houses and their homes and their crops and their fields behind every blade of grass. So no, Mr. Emperor, I will not do so." And the emperor said, "Okay, well, what about Hawaii?" So that's what they decided. So on December 7th, 1940, I can't remember exactly if it's 41 or it doesn't really matter. But on December 7th, they attacked Pearl Harbor. And the days right after the fact, Admiral Yamamoto turned and looked at the emperor and said, "You know, sir, I'm afraid that we have woken a sleeping giant. Right now, Mr. Patty Cakes, Lloyd Austin, this is what I have to say to you. If the Japanese were to attack us today, would they say that they had awoken a sleeping giant? or would they be able to actually invade our homeland? Those are the thoughts that crop the mind of somebody who has been in the military, who has actually done each and every single thing that you swear to do. You swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against both enemies, both foreign and domestic. Well, sir, your liberal policies are very contradictory to the oath that you take to hold the office in which you currently reside. So, if these are the policies that you, as a Secretary of Defense, want to uphold and defend, if you want to take these policies and foist them on the American military, that you, sir, need to step down. I don't believe that anybody hearing this live stream or otherwise would disagree with what I have to say. There's nobody that could look at the U.S. military the same after watching you go through and to systematically destroy its fighting capabilities. So if you care not for the troops, if you care not for the people who have fought and died for the flag, you care not to keep the military as pure as possible in the regards of what its mission statement is, then you, sir, need to step down and retire from political office yesterday.
Yep. Yep.
Didn't all of them take the same oath? Yes, they did. That's the sad part. They all took the same oath, but there is less than 10% of the men and women at the top of the armed forces that actually honor their oath. That's a sad part.
I got nothing to say after that.
And guys, I will throw that little clip up for people. If you want to share it, go for it. But as far as I'm concerned, you guys have a pen, you guys have a microphone. Use them. The silent majority can no longer stay silent. God bless y'all. God bless the United States of America. And good evening.
Have a good night.